Welcome to Daddy's Podcast.
This is the Redefining Plastics Podcast. Welcome to the Redefining Plastics Podcast. My name's Justin Riney. Today we've got the person that makes everything work in the background at Redefining Plastics, Samantha Ryan, Brave
Hi.
Industries. What, director of media?
I don't even know anymore. My email says marketing director. I think I do more of like account managing, media directing. So I'm just director of all
right.
good things.
The way Mitch describes it is you're the person that keeps them on track. All
Yeah, in every department.
Exactly.
So I just call it account managing because in every account of business, I wouldn't say I don't really manage it. I just keep it clean and keep it a little organized.
Because those guys, they struggle with organization at times.
Yeah, I was so curious. Like, what were you guys doing before I was here?
Like, it was
oh
just
my God.
complete chaos before
Yeah,
you
I'm
showed
like,
up.
because nobody besides me. But you know what? I'm happy to do it. I like to be organized anyway. So they listen to me. They're good.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. So I met you in person for the first time at PRC when we were in the Brave boardroom there. That was kind of a trek.
I know.
But you ran that room. I don't know
really?
if you realized. Yeah. Everybody
That's good to
listened
hear.
to what you said.
Well,
There was a
even
lot of
they-
experience in that
Yeah.
room, and everybody was like, whatever Sam says goes.
Yeah,
It's
it's that's nice to hear because I feel like a lot of the time I'm just kind of sitting there watching, listening and learning. But that's nice because I feel like it took a little bit of time, of course, because when I joined the company, which I want to say October, it was, it's just like any new job, except for there wasn't even a role to step into. It was more so we were creating the position. We knew what they needed and that they needed organization and someone to kind of let me throw you this, and then I don't want to think about it again, which is kind of what I do. And I like being in control. So I have no problem doing it. So if they're like, that's why I'm like, they know now. They know to listen because I'm like, it's going to turn out good if you do what I say.
Hand it to me.
Yeah.
It's under control.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
So I want to talk quite a bit because I don't know if you've seen all of the episodes because I send them all to you. But
I get the first watch, actually.
So we had Elena Simmons, who was at the time at Bear Locker, and now she is on the Appalachian Trail somewhere. We're not entirely sure where. Yeah, she's doing the whole trail this summer.
We're not sure where. Wishing her well.
She's got a
Good luck.
blog that I've checked out on
that's cool.
occasion. But
Okay.
So my goal recently, and something that I've been thinking a lot about, is younger people in the plastics industry and specifically recycling. Because when I look around, when I'm in any meeting, if I'm at APR, if I'm wherever, there's a lot of old people. And we need that next generation of people to come in and to take on leadership roles like you're doing. So I'm curious, how did you get into this? Like what led you to the recycling world and why are you staying?
Okay. There's so much I don't want to forget to say that's going to be in the order. So long story short, I actually work out of Tampa, Florida. So that's where I live now. I grew up in Annapolis, Maryland, went to the University of Tampa. I graduated in 2022.
Which I didn't even know existed, by the way.
The University of Tampa?
I've never heard of it.
Really? It's a private university and it's quite small. It's like 10,000 kids. I'll have to show you pictures of like Plant Hall because that's like, you might recognize it, but great school. It's like right downtown Tampa. It's crazy how much it's changed since even I graduated, which wasn't that long ago. But I just decided to stay in Tampa because I just loved Florida. And, graduating, first of all, even now than when I graduated, getting a job these days is so hard because since COVID, everything's remote. So you don't have to live in the state to get the position. So it's like you're really competing with all of America pretty much, which is like crazy.
Yeah.
So,
And
you
all the
know,
experience and everything
right.
else.
It's like
yeah,
you're entry level, but you have to be experienced. And it's like, what
it
are you
makes
even
no
talking
sense.
about?
Yeah.
Right. It's like, great. Let me go into the world.
Do we want young people or not? Then,
Right. Like, do you want me to, how am I supposed to get experience if you can't give me experience?
exactly.
So, you know, I graduated. I did recruiting for a little bit. I did not like the cold calling, wasn't really for me. Dipped my toes in real estate, which really helped me I was a communications major. So a lot of creativity. I did a lot of media. But then if I'm being honest, real estate was really stressful because like you don't have financially, it just wasn't working for someone my age who needed money like now.
Yeah.
So Mitchell, who I guess we can get the
Yeah,
secret out.
Yeah. You could talk Mitch.
Because,
So
well,
Mitch
this
Best. Yeah.
Mitch Best. I call him Mitchell because that's what I grew up with. But in the
Fair enough.
professional world, he's Mitch. Because this actually stems to the point of why I think there's more older people and why I think younger people aren't really into it as much. He's my brother-in-law. He's married to my sister. They've actually been together since 6th grade. So Mitchell is like my brother.
Yeah.
He got into the industry. A friend of his just worked in the industry brokering, started a company. Mitchell got into it. I was lucky enough to get into it. They took me along. I was like, what in the hell? Are you allowed to cuss on? What in the hell is going
Whatever you
on?
want to say.
I just
I don't
didn't
know if you've seen my other podcast.
Yeah.
There's some bad language on that.
I just and this is what I get from so many people when I tell them what I do. This is like the most niche industry. You don't even you throw a bottle in a bin and then you like just walk on your way and you see trucks and they pick up your trash. But like no one ever knew who was doing all of that, I guess. Like they just thought it was just happening. So
they throw it away. And then once it's away, somebody else handles it and I don't have to worry about it.
So I got into the industry with Mitchell, learned a lot. That was definitely, I would say, like my first big girl job for sure. There for about a year.
Girl job, I like
that was like my first real job.
Yeah.
So it was good. I learned a lot about myself too, just in the professional space.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, going to conferences, we went to a ton of conferences. You meet a ton of different people. That's where we met Adam Hill, who, by the way, like nicest person.
He really is.
He really is the best.
And he's possibly the most passionate human I've ever met in my life.
You got to like set a timer on that too. Because
I do. Like when we're on the podcast, he was on the episode with Circular Colorado. And I was like, Adam, in 30 seconds or less, say what it is that you want to say.
But it's awesome because it's like, I've heard the spiel a million times and it's so nice to hear.
It's engaging. He's good at what he does. He's really good at what he does.
And him and Mitchell, damn,
they balance each other really well.
They do. So we met Adam, and then it was kind of what I touched on before. He just needed like some help. Mm-hmm. He has the plant in Colorado, which is direct polymers. We went there. I've been there a handful of times, but it was just organization pretty much. He was really, it's like 2025. Like we don't need to be working off Excel spreadsheets. Like it's just not. And that's what almost everyone I've worked for, including Adam, who I think still does, was doing. And it was just not, it was just not working. He would literally show me in his office like a Post-it note with all of his deals on it. And I'm like, Adam, like, where are the records? Like, come on. So basically
that's recycling in a nutshell though.
Yeah,
that's like
literally.
All of them.
Yeah. So he was like, I always kind of tell him he's like I would never mark my words by this, but that he's like kind of a genius when it comes to really
he's a savant
anything
with math and
it's crazy. It's crazy. So he pretty much built a whole system for us to manage the plant, like all the deals, all the transactions. So it's super, super easy. It's just an internal system that we use and it's really helpful. So that's how we keep everything organized. It's kind of like a fancy Excel. Like, it's just like you have your drop downs, you have like what's coming out of the plant, what's coming into the plant. We have inventory, you know. So it's just a way to keep it all really organized. So that's kind of why we came in, to kind of just clean it up. It's really just like 4 of us running it. But it works. Like it totally works. It's super organized. So that's how I got into it. And that's kind of where we are now. But what I was going to say with the family aspect and why you're seeing all these old people, because, you know, I'm the youngest in the room.
Always. I'm
And
sure.
a good friend of mine as well, she's literally my age. I think she's the only one in the industry. Well, not the only one. Well, that I've met, I should say. It's a family thing. It's like her dad was in it, and then she went into it after him, and it'll go to her. And then kind of the same with me. Like Mitchell was in it, and then from the start, it was just like, I needed a job. Like, I need to pay rent. I live in Tampa. Like, please get me a job.
It's not free. I got to pay for something.
Like, I need a job. So that's how it started. But I think that's why young people really aren't, you don't see them as much in the industry, because I mean, that's just what I think, is that it's kind of just like a family thing. Like, you almost just get like put into it from, my dad does this, I work for my dad, or like,
so many third, fourth generation.
Right. It's just a
recycling
generational industry. And I can't speak for everybody, but that's just how like I got into it. And I'm still here. I haven't left because
The way you said that was like, yet.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah. One, because I like to think, and I'm told often by my team, which is really just, it's nice. They were always hyping me up. That I'm pretty good at like my job.
Yeah.
I like to think that like they hand me something and then they don't even have to think about it really again. Or if they ask me like, hey, like that load out of DP, like, is that scheduled? And I'm like, oh yeah, that went out like last week. So it's just kind of like, they don't really have to, it's one of those things where like they can trust me to take it. And like, don't get me wrong, there's definitely been some deals I'm like, wait,
Well,
what?
You're learning. You're young. That's what happens. Like, everybody learns from mistakes. And if you haven't made a mistake, you probably haven't taken very many risks in your career, and you're going to be really stagnant.
Yeah. And it's great because Mitchell always says, he's always like, no one's going to die. That's what he always says.
Yeah.
He's like, if you make a mistake, like, no one's going to die, so it's fine. Like, it's not the end of the world, you know, like, it'll be okay.
Neurosurgery. Yeah.
Right.
You
like,
make a mistake there, that's a big deal.
Like, you're going to be okay. And I'm like, okay, which makes me feel better because it's not the end of the world. I've made mistakes here and there, but as I go on, I learn how to take more time and avoid them.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, working with your brother-in-law is we work really well together. And I think that's another reason why, because I mean, 2 jobs, I could have left after the first one and been like, you
just keep falling.
It's a little much. But the second one, it was just like, we work very well together. You know, we definitely get in our tips here and there because like, you can't talk to your boss
family.
like you do your brother. Right.
Yeah.
But then we're like, all right. And even like Adam, like we're like, I'll have to, it's almost like I want to end the email with, do not read this with sass, Samantha. Because I'm like, Adam, I'm not like, this might sound sassy, but it's not supposed to sound sassy. I'm just trying to be like, let's, you know, this is what I'm here for. But like, it's like we become like a close family almost. It's like, they can call me and be like, this is what really needs to get done. You really need to do better at this, or we're changing this. And then since Mitchell kind of built the internal system we use while I'm navigating it, I'll be like, hey, like, this would be really easy if this button did this, or can you create something that does this? Because we're the only ones that use it. So it's like, really only me and Mitch. So it like should be altered to like, you know, it's
what
nice.
What works for you? Yeah.
What works for us. But yeah, I would say that that's why I'm just still here. I really love my job. It's remote, which is great. I get to travel, you know, here and there. I'd say maybe depending, like once every 2 months to different places, Denver. And it doesn't really feel like work. 1, because I'm with Mitchell, and 2, because I like the people I work with.
Yeah.
Like I like
that's always
Adam.
a key. Yeah.
So I'm like, it's not, even if I had to go on a trip with like Adam alone, like it wouldn't even be bad.
Yeah.
Like, it would just feel like I'm traveling with just like a friend or a family member. Like I really feel lucky that I had the opportunity that I did, because I know a lot of friends of mine, like I'm only 25. So a lot of friends of mine are still in their first step of their career, maybe their second job. And it's like in the office all day, cold calling, or like stuck with a $50K salary. And it's like, I'm really, and I think Mitchell often.
Yeah. I think that you're touching on a really good point. There, with the fact that there's no young people that think differently. So Mitch came in to a stale industry and built a system, and you're helping develop that system. We need other viewpoints. We need other thought processes within the organizations of recycling. And because of that, you got a ton of opportunity for people that think outside of the box.
Yeah.
And I think you're a great example of what can happen for young people that want to be aggressive, that want to learn, that want to grow and be ambitious. You can make a really, really good living in recycling. And you can make a good living in plastics, because even in my industry, like the plastics resin producers, I look around. I'm like the youngest guy in most of these meetings, and I'm not 25. We'll put it that way. And so, like, there's so much opportunity, and I just really want that message to get out there to younger people that this is a good industry to get involved in.
Yeah, and it's crazy you mentioned that, because like I said, the first opportunity that Mitchell brought me into, it was kind of the same thing. Like, we were kind of finding our footing as we went. It was a startup, so it was kind of like both positions I've had is kind of building the brand or building the company, which is awesome because I get a say. And then it's hard because it's like you're building from the ground up, so it's a lot of trial and error. But being like in the recycling industry, coming in from not knowing anything, it's a lot. Even being, I'm probably 2 years in my second year of being in the actual industry, and I am like working with materials all day, and I'm still like text Mitchell. I'm like, what is this? And why is it this much? So like things like that. But with the like how it can become it's crazy. Like, you would never think that, like, I've seen Adam's little Post-it notes of like, oh, this is how much plant made, or this is how much came in, or this, and I'm like, on plastic? Like, you're making that at your computer. And like, if you're managing the plant, like, it's just, it is crazy. Like, this is, and I've heard, I mean, I don't know who this was, but I think when I was, when we were in DC, somebody was talking about somebody way up in the industry who's got like a jet and he's going all these places. And I'm like, and no one knows about this.
No.
Like, when I talk about what I do, first of all, people ask me, I'm like, do I want to get into it? Like,
that's what I want to talk about. It's like when people find out you're working in recycling, the first thing they ask me, it's all BS, right? Like,
my boyfriend's
none of
grandma.
it's happening. There you go. So it's a good
She
example.
was ecstatic to hear about it. Because we've been together throughout the whole process of the real estate days. So he saw me get into the industry. He was like learning with me, and it's so funny now hearing him describe what I do, because I'm like, look at you.
Yeah, he's picking it up as you go along. Yeah.
So his grandma, I got this new job. Like, what is it? Usually when people ask me, I'll say, sometimes I'll be as blunt as sales, because I'm just like, or marketing.
You don't want to get in the conversation.
I'm like, I'll never see you again. You don't need to know. Sometimes I'll just say recycling, and then I like to talk about it. But with her, I explained everything of when it like goes to the bin, to when it goes from the city, to when it goes from another company, and then you sell it to this company, and then it gets created into a manufacturer, and then it's your fence or whatever.
Or whatever that is. Yeah.
Whatever it may be. Yeah. And she was like, so when I recycle, it's actually getting recycled? And I'm like, yeah.
If you're putting the right stuff in there.
Right. And she was like, oh my gosh, that is so good to hear. And she's like going and telling her friends.
Is she from Wisconsin?
No, I'm just doing like my grandma voice. This is my grandma
voice.
No, she's from Sarasota.
All right.
But she's just a grandma, so that's how she talks.
All right.
But yeah, so it's like, I do explain it as, I do like the whole process. I'll tell them like when you recycle something, almost like recycling for dummies, I'll dummy it down to just be, which is not even recycle for dummies, because that's like how I understand it. So maybe it is. So that's how I tell people, and they're like, oh, that's so, like, every single person is like, that is so interesting. Like, I've never, one, thought about it, and two, met somebody who actually is in the industry. And of course, you'll hear that from mainly a lot of people I talk to are people my age. So they would have never heard about it. Older people, like, I don't even know, honestly, if my dad, because I remember when Mitchell got into this and had to explain it to my dad, I don't even think he really had any idea about like that it was an actual industry that people are in. But then people will be like, you're kind of doing well, like, and you're in plastics, and I'm like, yeah, like it's pretty crazy to see, just how such a huge thing that happens all around us, like recycling bins are everywhere, and you're doing it all the time, is like no one talks about it and no one knows about it, and me telling my job is like mind-blowing people, and I'm like, what did you think was going on?
Just going. Most people, honestly, if you did a straw poll, most people think that stuff just goes straight to the landfill because that's what the media
and that's what
reporting.
Like my boyfriend's grandma really just thought, like she just thought it, like they literally, I think she, which honestly I think I may have thought the same or just never thought about it at all.
I think everybody did.
It just goes in the same bin, like they just mix it. And why wouldn't you think that? I mean, there's not really, I feel like no one really talks about recycling really anymore, as like around me, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting explaining it to people, because then I think they also feel like a sense of, oh, that's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to know that it's actually like that fence was like, wasn't just made, like it actually came from something. So it is fun explaining, and I feel like kind of smart when I do it, because I'm like, yeah. Ever heard of that?
You know something people don't know.
Yeah. And I'm like, my job's pretty cool.
So I ask the same question to everybody that comes on this show, which you are very familiar with. What do you think of first off when you hear the word plastic?
Like, it's like a water bottle.
A water bottle? All right.
That's so
something.
Fun, though.
Well, it doesn't need to be fun.
Honestly?
It's a thought exercise.
Honestly, what else comes to mind is, so my boyfriend's really into cooking, so he gets like really nice cutting boards. Oh. And I think of how you're not supposed to use a plastic cutting board. Did you know that?
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily true. I don't use a plastic one.
I do. I'm not a cook.
I don't think it's. I think it's a bit overblown. Microplastics.
I think I read that on Instagram and believed it immediately.
See, that's the thing. And that's what I'm trying to fight against every single day. It's like Instagram. That's the one thing with our industry. Like I did an op-ed on Plastics News a couple weeks ago, I think. My wigs are melding together at this point. Yeah. And it was all about how we're messaging in the wrong way. We're not connecting with people like you, but your friends. Let's say your friends, like your age group, because they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram. They are not reading friggin' Plastics News. They're not on LinkedIn in the same way that we are. And we're in this echo chamber where we're all saying plastics are great. And the other plastics people are saying, yeah, it is. It's awesome. And then all these other people are like, no, it's killing us. It's like, how do we get to those people? And that's the part that I'm trying to work on, which is why I like what you're doing.
Yeah, I think that also stems back to kind of how, back to what I was studying in college was, and what I kind of came into both roles at, in the industry with, the media perspective of because since I am in the generation of TikTok and literally,
I've never been on TikTok, by the way.
Don't go. It's a black hole. Yeah. It's very entertaining, but it's an addiction.
Yeah, I'm too old for that.
But there's even on Snapchat, there's Snapchat news.
Also, never been on Snapchat.
You don't need to be on Snapchat.
See, these are kind of conversations when they're like, oh, so when this is on that,
I'm just saying that it's crazy because that's where people get. It's so the younger generation, that's where they get their news.
Exactly.
So on Snapchat, I'm not going on to turn the news on in the morning. I don't read the paper. Whatever news is happening, I'm learning from TikTok or on Snapchat. So it's kind of people do listen to it though, which I guess can be a good thing or a bad thing. But that was kind of something that we really wanted to do with Brave and direct polymers and just the plastics industry as a whole, was how can we utilize the media in a way that will actually get people listening or get them to be invested. And that's kind of where, I guess, Mitchell too, because he's
good at it.
He's
really
very good at it. All those videos, he like gives me credit. They're him.
Yeah. Well, you
I do not
mean
make
the
those.
ones that John put
Just
together of like
the
the
edits.
flyovers and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, even before that, like just like videos and sound effects and everything. He loves to make those. And I like to think, well, this is what they say of people of my generation is a lot of kids can't sit and watch a TV show anymore because it's like 45 minutes.
Can you?
I love a good crime show, so I'll watch a TV show any day. But if it's like not getting me interested within like the first 10 minutes,
You're scrolling.
Yeah. And then I find myself like not watching the show.
Yeah.
So it's like, you got to make something that's like, give me 15 seconds of your time or else you're going to just pass it. And if it's not hooking you within the first 2 seconds, then like the chance is gone.
Yeah.
So I think that's also something that we've tried to think about with, again, it's like, but do we need to? Because it's a whole different generation taking in the information now. Because on LinkedIn, where we're posting, it's like these people are older.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're on TikTok. They might be. But
yeah, there's some people my age on TikTok. I don't. It seems creepy to me because it's just a bunch of kids on there, and then like 40-year-olds.
The algorithm
lurking.
goes to your interests. Yeah. So yours would probably be like plastics, or if you like a certain football team, like.
If it's anything like my Instagram, it's hate watching weirdo religious videos.
It would do that for you. It's like whatever
dancing around in churches and
whatever you like, it like does for you. Yeah. So like a lot of mine is like I have a dog and like I'm crazy about the dog. So like a lot of mine is like what to do's, what not to do's, which is really anxiety
kind of dog,
driven.
By the way,
he's sitting right next to me. Do you want to see him?
Yeah, definitely. Is it small? Is it an actual dog? Oh, okay, that is adorable.
I know.
What kind of dog is that?
We don't know. We rescued him in October.
Okay.
And they put him as like a King Charles Spaniel. He's not.
He does not look like.
He looks like a dachshund, but he's got very long legs. He's like 14 pounds. But yeah, we rescued him in October. So I was fostering him.
How old is he? Do they know?
He's going to be 2 on the 23rd.
Yeah. Happy birthday, little guy.
I know. His name's Jasper. But that's like what mine is like, I'm always good. And I think it like reads your Google. So like,
yeah, it does.
You Google something and all of a sudden you see a video of it, which is creepy. But yeah, so I think what we've also tried to focus on is what media can we put out to give the right message and how do we make it interesting, which is, I think, why Mitchell kind of does this cool like music videos almost.
Yeah, and it's like flashy.
It's flashy and
it gets
like,
people's attention.
Changing, it's like turning upside down, and then it's got the deep voice, and it's like it's really cool. It's like very theatrical, and I love it. But I think we're kind of bringing like the new generation of media because you're not scrolling on LinkedIn and seeing all these like edits from other companies, and I think it's because me and Mitchell are younger and we know what's going on like in the media space these days. But it's fun because he's getting all the angles and he's like, get the behind the scenes shots when we're at the plant. And like, we got a camera. We like bought a nice camera to do everything with. You see me when we were in DC and I'm recording and like making sure no one sees. And it's like, it's just nice and it's all raw. It's most of it, unless I'm like talking about plastics. Then the script was behind the scenes, probably.
Yeah, I tried to do a couple scripted videos when I first started doing this, and I was reading it, and it just sucked. Like, I don't do that well. I did, so the Polystyrene Recycling Alliance, we did some, like, kickoff videos, so we had several of the key members of the organization early on, and for some reason, I was involved in that. And I'm sitting there trying to read a script. And I guarantee if the B-roll from that ever got out, it would be very entertaining because I was probably swearing way too much because I was so annoyed.
It's so annoying
doing it.
I feel like what's so much easier. I mean, I haven't been not really scripted ever, I guess. I was in a few plays in college. I mean, in high school, but I think what's so much easier, especially with, like, even before this podcast, I like went to Mitchell and I was like, I was a little nervous. I've never been like a guest on a podcast. And me and
Well,
him
you're
just
doing
talk.
great, by the way. So you don't need to worry about it.
And it's like, it's so much easier to be given maybe a topic and kind of like talk about it, and then maybe a paragraph of points or something, and then you just talk about it like how you would normally talk. I feel like a script is like, that's so not how I talk.
No, it's way more engaging when you're
Yeah,
just
it feels
yourself.
conversational, and
Yeah,
it feels
we need
real.
to engage with people.
And it feels true.
Exactly. The only way we engage with any generation is
Right.
authenticity.
Mhm.
If we're talking about what we truly think and feel in a way that catches people's attention, that's the only way we can change the narrative around plastics, around recycling. Because you know who's really good at engaging with people? NGOs. They are really good at it because they have to raise money.
Mhm.
And then they say plastic recycling is a fraud. And then everybody believes it. And so that's the part where we got a big hill
And
to
that's
climb.
where we tell them what we do for a living.
Exactly. And we got to show them. And
Yeah.
so I was talking to Mitch and Adam. I'm going to go to Direct
Oh, yeah?
in July.
Okay.
And I'm going to hopefully get a video crew. And we're going to follow along with Circular Colorado while they do their milk runs
Okay.
and show them picking up the recycled content.
And putting
Get to the transload site and then go to Direct, watch them break down the bales, watch them make new product, and then follow it to a customer and watch them make the end product. I love that. I want to show the whole circle.
I don't think that I've even ever seen, because when I got into the industry, I was like YouTubing, which by the way,
me too.
There's really nothing out there that helps really at all.
There's some from like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's not complete, and it puts you to sleep after about 30 seconds.
I remember I told Mitch, I wish there was a plastics like textbook. I would look on Quizlet, and it was always like, obviously I found really nothing. I think Mitch made me a cheat sheet. And I actually did make my own Quizlet to kind of help teach myself, but I don't think I had ever seen a video of, I've seen the process at Direct of it going up and creating new material or the grinded down or whatever it is, but I've never even seen it go and get created into something else.
Yeah.
So that will be really good. That's going to be good. I'm excited to see that.
You're going to be a key part of making that happen. So you haven't been told yet, but you're probably going to have to travel to Denver in July at some point.
Okay.
Because we're going to have to do that.
I haven't been there in a while, so it's probably about time to go.
And we need a younger person to express the information.
Oh, we need. Okay.
I need a narrator, and so I'm pretty sure I'm going to make you do that.
Okay. I should get to Denver anyway. It's been a few months.
Yeah.
I got to show face here and there.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Yeah.
So, recycling. You've been doing it now for what, a year, 2 years?
A year and a half.
I saw a post that you made, it was probably 6 months ago, where you said that at 25, I never thought I would find my career and my family.
Mm-hmm. I remember that one.
What led to that?
I think it was, I wish I knew the date. I remember it was something with, I think, because that was about 2 months in to me working here with Adam. And I think it might have been something as small, because honestly, I never got this prior, really ever. So I don't know if it's normal, and it's kind of sad that I emphasized it, but regardless, I think we have a group chat of the team. Usually it's just for work updates or deal updates or about the plant, but I think he sent a big message about me, kind of highlighting my work and thanking me and all of these things. And then people were coming back with, "Oh, you rock, or oh, this." He was really just hyping me up. And it's so, it's always nice to hear you're doing a good job. And I always say to Mitch or whoever, it is my job. You're getting paid to do a job. So it's you don't always have to be told good job for like doing what you were literally hired to do.
Yeah.
So like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm doing what I was hired to do. So it's like you don't need a gold star. Like, but to hear it every once in a while that like we appreciate you, you're doing a good job, we recognize it, like we just want you to know that, is like so nice to hear. And I hadn't really gotten that in a lot of my professional settings before, which again is never really expected, but it's such a nice surprise. And I think that and like my first week that I was here, it was the week of my birthday as well. They sent me like this huge bouquet of flowers in like a glass vase. Like they went to like the extreme bouquet with such a nice note that they were so excited to have me. And it was like, I was like, where am I? First of all, like it was just, I'd never experienced such a nice and welcoming team. And that was completely genuine. Like I was like, wow, I feel very, like I said before, like not everyone likes their boss. Not like some people like I used to have anxiety a few years ago going to bed, waking up to working the next day. And like there's so many people who feel that way. Yeah. And it's like people dread going to work or dread falling asleep because they have to wake up and go to their job. And it's like I'm very aware that that's a thing. And that sucks. And like I feel for those people because I've been there, but it's also like now I never really thought that I would get out of that. So now that I'm like, I am so lucky to like be in the position that I am while I'm doing a really good job that's actually making a difference. And it's really cool to learn about. I'm meeting so many different people from like who are so much older than me, but in the best way where I can look at them as like mentors and learn from them. So I think I just wanted to almost like shout them out for shouting me out and just being like, that was so unnecessary of you to say to me, but it was like made the biggest difference in how I feel, because no one ever has to tell you good job for doing the job you were hired to do. Like that's what you're supposed to do every day. But it meant so much that like they just shouted me out, and they continue to. Like now, if I if I LinkedIn
or whatever they call it now,
I don't even have that. If I LinkedIn'd every time that they shouted me out, that would be like my whole feed, because it really like, and that's so even like Mitch was texting me last night because I was like, I'm a little nervous. I don't know if I am the right person to go on this podcast.
You are the exact right person
I'm so
to be on this podcast.
Inexperienced, and he was like,
that's
no,
the
like,
point.
Right. Well, that's good. Perfect.
That's what
I'm right where I need to be.
Exactly.
But he was like, no, like, don't look down. Like, look, you're a superstar. Like all these things, and just telling me off. And I'm like, it just really is. Like I could say it a million times. I'm just really, really grateful for being. And it wasn't like easy getting here. Like I definitely getting here was a little rocky. Yeah. But now that I'm here, I'm like, whoa, I would do that a million times over, because I'm so lucky to have the job that I do and work remote and be able to be home with my little dog all day while I
think that's a really good
job.
Perspective, because I think a lot of people will look back at the journey and not appreciate how all the bad things or the negatives or whatever led you to the positive and made you into the person that you are now, which makes you ideal for whatever role you have. And that's why you have success, instead of looking back and saying all of these negatives are holding me back. No, they set you forward, and they set you up for success.
Even just shaping me professionally. Yeah. And honestly, like
knowing what you'll accept and what you won't accept. Like those things are important.
They are. And I think especially like when you're right out of college, it's like I only had like serving jobs, which really do shape you. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I bartended and served for a long time. I
always say, I think that almost everybody should serve. Yeah. I think it's a great way to like, you really meet everybody. You meet a type of every character. You got to learn how to
get along with everybody.
You got to learn that the customer is right and you are wrong.
Yeah. Even when they are very wrong, when they're very wrong, right.
You are wrong.
Yeah.
So that was really the only, you have a boss serving, but like you don't really report to anybody.
Yeah.
You're just kind of doing your thing. So that was the only job I ever really had in high school and college summers. But so I had a lot of growing to do. Just not even growing, just starting. I had never been in a corporate job or anything like that. So I think that the timing, honestly, it all worked out how it was supposed to, because if I just went into direct polymers or into Brave right out of college, I don't think it would have worked out the same way that it did, because
Great
I didn't
perspective.
have like any experience with it. And like I said, I'm still like growing and doing better every day. And I'm, still making these mistakes. I ask questions when the answer is there if I just dig a little deeper. So like
Asking questions is a good thing. You
that's
should
what
be
I
asking
said
questions.
too. I say that too. But I just think that really, if I could go back and had to do it again, it would kind of suck. But I would do it again, knowing where I am now, and like there's so many opportunities that I have for myself that I wouldn't have. Like I'm moving actually next week. Staying in Tampa, but I'm moving to a new apartment. And
upgrading, hopefully.
I live in a 500 square foot studio apartment. This is not complaining because I'm downtown Tampa and it's great. But
I lived in a studio in LA about the same size, and yeah, it sucked.
It's your building can be the nicest. I live in a very nice building. Living in a studio and working from home is very hard.
Yeah.
So I am moving into a 2-bedroom.
You're going to make one of those bedrooms into a studio so you can do more podcasts?
So yes, one of them is going to be an office.
All right.
So it's going to be super nice. We're super excited, but I'm like, what a great opportunity I have that I can move out of affording
I'm going to send you all of this lighting and the background stuff.
Yeah. I'll have a better background. I'm in literally I call it my room. Cause there's it was funny. Mitch came to visit with his son, Finn, and Finn's 3. And he's like, "Where's your kitchen?" And I'm like, "There." And he's like, "Where's your living room?" And I go, "There." And he's
it's
like,
all
"It's
here.
your bedroom."
It's right here.
And he's like running. It's like the dog too. He's just running back and forth and back and forth, back and forth. So I'm very excited and it's again, out of college. I'm 25, but I'm still getting learning the ropes on how to completely be on your own financially is really stressful.
Yeah.
Especially in a city that you don't need to live in for how expensive it is. I just like living here. So I'm I'll pay
Fair
it.
enough.
But it's nice that and I think I like to say that I think I deserve it. I think that I've worked really hard, and I think that I'm ready to live in a room with a wall. And
so
I think I'm ready to live in a room where I can't see the microwave from the bed.
Yeah, fair enough. There.
I think I deserve that luxury.
Feeling. I know the feeling.
So it's really nice that I'm wow, I'm going to be sitting in there and I'm going to be I did this, this. Yeah. I did this all myself, which is it's going to be really great to feel. I'm excited.
So you mentioned the family atmosphere of Brave. I would say most recycling companies that I know are very similar to that, because you mentioned earlier, it is family.
Right.
They are grandfathers passed on to fathers, passed on to daughters, passed on to, it's just right down the line. And the one thing about Brave, which is interesting, is you guys had never met me in person. I had reached out to Mitch and Will independently, not realizing that you guys were working together, because I wanted to do a podcast with Will, and I wanted to do a podcast with Mitch. And then Mitch was like, well, we're all connected. And then he brought Adam in. And so you and Mitch reached out to me before the recording, or hey, can we get together to talk about some business? And I was like, I have no idea what this is about. And then we just had an open discussion about what we're trying to do and what you're trying to do and how it aligned. And that's been possibly the best thing that's happened to this podcast, in the fact that you guys have been just phenomenal.
Oh,
for me.
That's good.
And so the one shout out I'm going to give you is, and hopefully this doesn't bring this discussion down too much, but the day after my wife passed, one of the first people to call me was you.
Really?
You called me saying, I've got a delivery of food on the way to your house right now from Firehouse Subs. And everybody in my house, I had like 40 people here. It made a huge difference for every single one of those people. So I don't think I've ever told you face to face, but thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Because that was a big deal for me. And so the connection that I felt to this organization, to Brave, was just further strengthened. And then when I met you all in person, face to face, it's like I'd known you my whole life.
Yeah.
And that's the nice thing about working with you all, is that it is a family and it is people supporting each other. And it's been great. And the thing that I don't think you give yourself enough credit, let me say, for you do know more about recycling than I think you try to let on. Like you get it to an extent. You don't need to know high molecular weight versus polypropylene.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll ever.
Copolymers, like all that stuff gets complicated.
Yeah.
And honestly, for what you're trying to do, if you're trying to connect with people, that kind of stuff isn't important anyway. So if you're trying to make media for people to understand about plastics, when are you ever going to talk about copolymer polypropylene or
that's
high impact polystyrene or high molecular weight HDPE? None of that stuff makes any sense to the typical person. So what you need to do is you need to understand the process and the people. And that's what you've got. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to keep doing this. And I'm excited about like what next. So I'm curious for you, what do you think is next for Brave? Like,
I know.
When it comes to marketing, comes to videos.
We actually had a meeting, I don't even know, was it Monday or Tuesday, with a team that, I don't know how much, I don't know how much I can say. No.
If you feel uncomfortable talking about it, don't talk.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to like make us sound like we're famous.
Yeah.
I think we want to do something of the sense of docu-series-esque. Something of the start to how we got here now, literally to talking about to where we're going to go. We did the videos for a while. I was supposed to be marketing this whole time. Which is, like I said, I like what I do. I'll do whatever they tell me. But we needed hands in other places. We needed somebody to do something else. So we don't really have all the time / expertise, professional. I don't have a drone. I don't know how to work a drone.
That's why you hire other people to do that.
Exactly. So we brought in more people who we're hoping can do something really cool. So I guess what's next is just getting the word out about Brave as a whole to start. And then from there, I think it's just going to build up into hopefully more people wanting to either learn about it or be a part of it.
So in your words, what is Brave?
This is always such a hard question.
It's a tough one.
To answer.
People ask me that all the time. I typically say it's like a co-op for recycling.
I always say it's just, I like to say it's just, I don't even know if I want to use the word family again, but just a way to make working together easy and collaboration more beneficial and make things easier on everyone's terms. We talked about how the industry can be a little older. Yep. Mitch and Adam is like, his fly points have to be unbelievable. But
he's getting upgraded all the time.
Oh my God. They're driving all around the country. They're flying places literally just to show people how to work better and how to work easier and how to do, not that like we're all knowing, but just what we do works. Let me see what you do. Try this way. This
learn from each other too.
Yeah.
I'm sure
and then
they're picking up stuff from others.
Exactly. And then we're like coming back with things that they took in from the plant that they went to. And it's all just about collaboration and kind of, Adam says a lot that he thinks, and this is probably in every industry, you have like a work face and you have an off the camera face or a 5 to bedtime face. Like he's like, some people put on a front when they go to work and then you don't really know them. And he's like, we just want to be us all real to each other all the time. And I think that's so great that you said that when we all met in person, it felt like so natural and nice. And that's so true, because it's like, we're just who we are. Like, I tell Mitchell all the time when I'm emailing somebody, a lot of the logistics people I work with are also women. I have no idea what they even look like or how old they are. I just know their names. And we email constantly. And I'll be like, I'm so real. I'm like young. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
And I'll respond and I'll be like, oh, that was so silly of me. Sorry. Or something like kind of just like we're texting. And I'm like, let me just, and then they reply and they're like, LOL. And I'm like, yeah, like we're people here.
You get it.
So it's just so nice.
The human connection.
Right. Or just like if I mess up, I'm like, honestly, like that was on me. Like, so sorry about that. Like, what can I do? Whatever. So brave.
The amount of people in corporate that will not accept responsibility for a mistake is
I've
insane.
definitely even run into them too. I get a lot. I've gotten like ghosting when I'm like, what happened here? And I'm
I take responsibility for stuff that somebody else did.
Yeah.
Just because that
I find
kills
myself
the
there
conversation.
too,
and then you move on.
It's so funny because when we were in the Brave conference room, I would meet people and they're like, oh yeah, I got an email from you. And I'm like, you did? And I'm like, my name is on so much more than I know. So I'm like, a lot of times people email me like this, and this, and I'm like, my name's behind all this. So a lot of times they're like, this happened. And I'm like, so sorry. And I'm like,
yeah,
because I'm like, whatever. Like I said, like totally fine. Things happen all over. And I'm even something got messed up the other day and the woman was like, oh no, that's okay. Like the same thing just happened to us last week. Like totally get it. And I'm like, thanks girl. Like you made me, because I don't like to mess up.
I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, it doesn't feel great. It's like a whole day ruiner.
Unless you're really apathetic and you're just like, well, I don't really care.
No, I try because I always think no one's dying. But I'm like, but I could have just made someone's day a little bit harder. But I think that's just what Brave is. Not even the traveling and helping people out, but just like being real and just like, let me help you out. Let's trust each other. If someone needs something, you're closer, you can get it direct polymers. Let's do it that way. Like, it's just like, it's not a competition. It's just not. It's just like friendly and smart business to make things easier for companies, just to like, and then we can be friends. Like, I think Mitch went to dinner with somebody we met in the industry in like, I don't even know what, North Carolina. He was driving to Florida from Maryland. And we met him like at a conference. And I think he might have seen his LinkedIn. He was like, we didn't even talk about plastics. We didn't even talk about recycling. Like, we literally are friends now. So it's like, that's kind of like what the purpose and the goal is. It's like, we want to be friends with people and like just work together rather than like whisper about each other on the outskirts. Like, it'd just be better to like make it easier for everyone, because then it's easier for you. It's easier for me. And then we can mess up and laugh about it.
And we can all make a little bit more money.
And then we could all be a little silly and then LOL each other, and then we'd move on.
So I got a couple other things I wanted to ask. So, and I'll let you go.
This is fun. I could talk all day.
That's good, because I got something else I want to talk to you about after this.
Okay.
So, how do we get more young people to want to be involved?
I know that. Honestly, I don't know.
I don't
feel
either.
Like,
that's why I'm asking.
I feel like we're from, I guess honestly, this would be a good way, which this kind of sounds silly, but from just being my age. And I'm trying to think of the ways I looked for jobs and the way I was looking for work and finding work. Like, being more physically visible on, dare I say, like, career fairs, things like that. I know that might sound kind of weird, but like, people go to those and they see different industries and learn about so many different things. And it's like, I never even heard of the recycling industry until my brother-in-law had a job in it.
That's interesting. I've never been to a career fair.
Well, like on my campus, they would.
No, I'm saying they had them at my campus all the time. I never went to one of them.
Well, my University of Tampa is like, it's weird.
I went to a small school too.
Yeah,
so,
you never went? Yeah. I didn't go by choice, if I'm being honest. I just happened to walk through that part of campus and I was like, oh, there's career fair.
Yeah.
So, but people do go. So it's just, I don't know, something that gets because again, like I said, like LinkedIn, they're not really like, you could post on like Indeed and you could post a job on LinkedIn, but it's like it's more so educational too. It's like you need to really educate them on what it is and like just getting in the industry itself and like how beneficial it would be. And I think to do that, you like have to get in their face. Like pretty, like to be blunt, it's like they're not going to see it on TikTok because it's not on their algorithm, of course.
Yeah.
They're not going to see it on X because they're not reading about plastics. They're things like that. So it's like, I don't know, get plastics on Joe Rogan. I have no idea. Like you've got
Somebody was like, if your podcast keeps getting big, you're going to end up on Joe Rogan. It's like, I am so far from that radar. You have no idea.
We might be able to connect all the way up there. Adam knows some pretty interesting people.
I know he does.
But I think just honestly, like putting it in the young people's face is like the only thing that I would even think of, because job boards, you only apply to jobs that like you
are interested
in. And if I saw this posting, I honestly wouldn't have applied. Yeah. So you need to know more about it. So I think I would just say you have to, like, as silly as it sounds, hang flyers in universities, go to a career fair, make a commercial, like, I don't know, like pay for an ad on YouTube for like the most popular content creator that all the young people are watching. Yeah. Something like that, where it's really got to be like, they're probably not going to look for it. So like you can't create something that they're going to scroll upon on LinkedIn. It's like you have to create something that they're going to see just in their everyday life by walking on campus or by being in a Starbucks and seeing a posting on a wall or something like that. That's what
It's like almost like a guerrilla marketing campaign.
Yeah, but I honestly, to be completely honest, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, word of mouth is also something, like, I know that me and my boyfriend have talked about it. I'm like, maybe we can do it sometime. Like, you were into the Brave and direct polymers, and it could be like, you just add to the family.
Yeah.
And he's seen how it goes. He sees what I do, and he's like, okay, like, sure.
What does he do now?
He's a software engineer for I don't want to say the company now.
You don't need to say the company. Just software engineer is good.
He's a software engineer for a grocery store. So he just codes. He codes.
All right.
But yeah, so like
we could use coders
in the
recycling industry.
We've said that, but it's just funny because if he would have seen this on a job board and not known anything about it, like he would have never. And now he's like, oh yeah, that's pretty interesting. So it's just like you just have to educate them in a way that is in their face. Unfortunately, it's like I said, the attention span's pretty small for my generation, and I fear just because of TikTok.
13 seconds is the average
is that what
attention
it is?
Span.
That seems longer than I would have thought. Because TikToks
that includes
are like
boomers and everybody else. That's
because sometimes on TikTok, I'll maybe watch like 9 Mississippi seconds. I'll watch like 9 Mississippis, and I'm like, if it's boring, I'm like next, and then you go to the next video, and it's a completely different subject, and that's why it's so hard to watch TV.
Yeah,
I was watching one of my favorite shows that I have probably rewatched like 20 times, and I rewatched an episode with my boyfriend because he's like bad acting. He always thinks my shows are like bad acting. And
I'm curious what show we're talking about.
You're going to be like, bad acting.
Yeah.
It was Hawaii Five-0.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay,
right.
See? Whatever. I love that show. But I was watching it, and I was like a little bored. I was like,
scrolling while watching your favorite
shows?
No,
I couldn't because he was watching it, and he already thinks it's so bad. So if I was scrolling, he'd be like, you don't even want to watch
watching
this.
It, so you have to,
But even with that, like, that was my favorite show. And I was like, this is kind of boring.
That is very random for that to be your favorite show.
But
have
when
you
I
not
say
watched Game of Thrones? Have you not
No.
watched?
Actually, it's not my favorite show. That's my, like, comfort show. I'll rewatch that and Friends. I'll rewatch, like,
Friends,
to the death.
I don't understand. I've never even
You're not an Office
cracked
person,
a
are you?
smile.
The Office?
The British Office.
What?
The original.
Okay, wait. But you not getting Friends,
It's not funny.
Yeah, it is.
I don't mind saying it. It's not funny. Like
okay,
Seinfeld,
tell majority
hilarious.
of America it's not funny.
That's fine. I tell people that all the time. I have unpopular opinions daily.
Have you seen Breaking Bad?
Yes, love it.
Okay. That's a great show. That and Ozark. Those are great.
Love Ozark.
Yeah, those like the action shows, the drug smuggling, like I love that. I love those shows.
It's like you missed your calling. You wanted
I
to
know.
be drug smuggling.
I was a criminal justice major my first semester of
Really?
college. Yeah, I
That's
wanted
interesting.
to be a FBI profiler. So I love criminal minds, but I wasn't very good at the classes. I very quickly realized. So
Have you seen
I
the
switched.
Lie to Me show with the guy?
No, I
It's pretty
haven't.
good.
Is it good? I'm
Yeah.
watching the new Criminal Minds season. It's like Criminal Minds Evolution. So it's like one case on the whole season.
All right.
But yeah, I watch those shows. Friends is my background show because it's funny.
It's a background show for me because it would put me to sleep. But
Okay.
that's just a different thing altogether.
You're going to have to just watch it again. You
No,
probably forgot.
No. So I give everybody an opportunity. Anything you want to talk about, I'm sure we've probably covered 99% of what you wanted to cover today. But is there anything else besides TV shows that you're really excited about that you want to talk about?
That I'm really excited about.
It doesn't even have to be plastics related.
Okay. This is funny. I'm really excited for the month to be over.
Okay.
Because it's a very busy month for me. It's crazy because this is going back to like being so grateful. Like you being stressed over amazing things feels so wrong. But the last 2 weeks of June are I'm traveling next weekend for friends' wedding dress shopping in Boston.
You're going to be doing a lot of that over the next couple of years.
Oh, I know. We already have 3 weddings next year.
There you go.
And it's crazy. But I'm traveling next weekend. I get back Monday. I move Thursday, and then I'm leaving for a family trip Saturday.
All right.
And then I come back, and the financials are crazy. I'm like paying double rent also. Yeah. So this month is just, and it like feels wrong because I'm like, oh, I'm going to Aruba when I'm moving.
Perspective
right.
is key.
So it's like, you know what? It's a little stressful because the timing, but I'm like, but at least it's like I'm doing amazing things surrounding it. So it's like, I guess it's a little bittersweet. I'm ready for the month to be over so I can just get it all over with. But then also it's like I'm going on a family vacation with Mitch and my sister, my dad and my nephews. We haven't done a big family trip in a long time. So I'm very, very excited for that.
How about you don't focose on the getting over with, and you focus on the just
not
enjoy it and take your time.
Getting over with that. I think more so the moving.
No, I get that. Moving sucks.
The moving is going to be a little brutal, and then leaving 2 days after I move is like you're going to come home to a shit show. But I am really, I guess I should more focus on something that I want to be excited about. I'm very excited to go on a family vacation. My nephews are like, I don't know if you've seen Mitch's kids, but they are
adorable. Yeah.
They are like those boys. So I can't wait to spend a week with them. So I think
his boys and my girls would get along very well.
Really? How old are your girls?
4 and 6.
Oh my God. Yeah, they would. Finn, they'll be holding hands by the end of the day. Finn is just the cutest. He is so funny, and he's like 3. So he's getting that age where it's like you can really talk, and he's saying the funniest things. He's like, what he said the other day, Chase, my sister, didn't have something in the kitchen or whatever. And he just goes, I'm disappointed. And we're like, what?
That sounds like my 4-year-old. My 4-year-old's hilarious.
I'm disappointed. And he's saying literally, because we say literally. He's like, literally. And I'm like, oh my God. So I can't wait. I guess I should say that. I'm very excited to go on a trip with my family at the end of the month. I can't wait to spend time with my nephews because they're just getting so much bigger.
Yeah. So, well, to wrap this up, first off, you did great.
Thank you.
So no reason to worry about any of this. Second, I really appreciate everything you're doing for this podcast and all the stuff behind the scenes that nobody knows about. Yeah. And so thank you for that.
Yes.
And thank you for being an advocate for the industry and doing what you're doing to make this a better industry. And we need more people like you, more young people, more women.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Oh my God.
That would be very helpful, specifically in leadership roles. Like somebody to have a different perspective to drive things in a different direction, I think would be key. But thanks for all of that.
Yeah.
And with all of that said, this has been the Redefining Plastics Podcast. My name's Justin Riney for Samantha Ryan at Brave. Thank you so much, and everybody have a great day. If you want to learn more about the plastics industry, recycling, check out these other videos. Please like and subscribe.